Welcome to What's in the Pot. I'm your host Sean Grande, and today we are making a holiday ham. It's What's in the Pot. Welcome to What's in the Pot, and today we are cooking a sweet and spicy holiday ham, perfect for Christmas morning. Now, this is the ham. It's about 8 pounds, and I'm leaving the skin on. I've just washed it out with some nice warm water, dried it out, and the first ingredient we're going to use is a teaspoon of cayenne powder. And now we're actually going to make a dry rub for this ham, and then we're going to rub it on. And I'm using 1 cup of brown sugar. The next one we have is 1 teaspoon of black pepper and Himalayan pink salt. You can use any kind of salt, and a handful of cloves. We're not going to use a ton of cloves, just use a handful. And we're making a small dry rub. So first we're going to put everything together. We're going to put that cayenne pepper, and actually that is cayenne, 1 teaspoon of cayenne and 1 teaspoon of paprika. We're going to add the salt and pepper mixture, and just like a simple dry rub we do for ribs, but we're actually going to put it on a ham, and we're going to do that sugar. Now what we do is once you put all the ingredients in, we're going to start mixing it up into the sugar and make sure all the dry ingredients into the sugar mix in properly. So you don't want to get, like, you know, all the black pepper in one spot and all the cayenne in one spot. You just want to keep on mixing it until everything is mixed up evenly. You can see it's kind of forming in chunks. Just mix it up evenly. Once it's mixed up evenly, then we'll go ahead and start getting the ham prepared. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score it, and it's a little bit nicer when it cooks. Don't score it too much, because sometimes the ham will peel away. And be careful with the knife, and just take your time. And also when scoring, it's also easier to put in those cloves. So I give it a few scores around. Our next step is to add the dry rub on. Now, in order to add the dry rub, I'm using a little bit of orange juice. You can use any kind of juice. Pineapple juice works really well. I had some orange juice on hand, so I'm using some orange juice, and I'm just basting it on the ham. Get the ham a little wet, but it's also going to soak in that nice citric flavor that you'll usually get with if you use pineapple or use any kind of citrus kind of juices. You're going to get that nice citrus flavor into the ham, and it makes it easier when putting the dry rub on. So once I've added that orange juice, I'm just going to sprinkle the dry rub on. Sprinkle it up. Make sure you try to get it as much as possible. Now you're wondering, what am I going to do with the rest of the dry rub? What we're actually going to do is we're going to make kind of our glaze with the remainder of the dry rub. So put as much as possible. Obviously some pieces aren't going to get as much sugar or the dry rub itself on the ham, but try to put as much of the dry rub on the ham as possible. And you just want to make sure it gets kind of coated in on. It's just like how you're doing ribs in the summertime, kind of the same concept, but we're doing this with a holiday ham. Once you're finished adding all of the dry rub onto the ham, we're going to add as much cloves as possible. Now that centerpiece there is very tender pieces of fat in the skin, and we just want to go ahead and add the cloves in there. If you have any left over, we're going to add that to our glaze. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take some foil and you're going to start wrapping it. Once you start wrapping it, you're going to wrap the bottom and you're going to wrap the top. Now I just wrap it very loosely. I don't want to wrap it very, very tight. After wrapping the ham, make sure your oven is set to 350 degrees. And also, I go by the method about 20 minutes per pound. So this is 8 pounds, takes almost about 3 hours. Now the next step in preparing a papaya pepper sauce, these are ingredients: teaspoon of ginger. I have some salt and pepper, just to add some flavor to it. I got some green seasoning right here, some bandana. I got some pimentos, and I got some Scotch bonnet peppers. I would say about 8 or 10 Scotch bonnet peppers, about 5 or 6 pimentos, and 1 whole papaya. Once we've added chopped up the papaya in small chunks, we're going to start adding into the sauce. Now, one thing you want to do is before you start making your sauce, I add about a cup of vinegar, and I'm going to use about 1.5 cups in total. And I'm just going to start adding all the ingredients in there. Now, once I did the first batch, I needed a little bit more flavor, so I added a teaspoon of mustard, so you can go ahead and do that. And I wanted the papaya pepper sauce to be a little bit more sweet, so I added a little bit of sugar, and I'm gonna go ahead and add about a teaspoon of just regular white sugar. You can, if you like it a little bit more tangy, you can go ahead and leave it that way. For me personally, I like a little bit of sweetness with this pepper sauce. And the one thing that I didn't get, because the papaya was not very, very sweet, now this is the consistency of the sauce I like, and like I said, once you add those additional ingredients, just mix it up one more time. The next thing we're going to start doing is our sauce or our glaze for the ham. So the ham is in the oven, we have it at 350 degrees, so we're starting our glaze. Put the pan on medium, and we're going to add 1 cup of orange juice. Like I said before, you can use any kind of juice you like, whether it's orange, pineapple. Some people, I like to add honey. I like this glaze. It's not too sticky, but it has that same sweet and spicy flavor. We're going to add the leftover ingredients that we made with our dry rub. Once we've added those leftover ingredients, we're going to mix that in. Just whisk it in. You want to make sure all the sugar kind of melts into the juice. And just kind of mix it in. If you want to add extra cloves or a little bit extra spices, that's totally up to you. I just like to whisk it in, kind of get it all in there, make sure it's all whisked in properly. Now, if you notice, I'm using juice with pulp. You can use any kind of orange juice. There's no particular type that you need to use. And the one thing I'm going to add as well later on, I'm going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes, is about 1 teaspoon of ketchup. There you go, our finished product. This is our holiday ham. It's sweet and spicy. I'm gonna just cut right in there and show you the inside. Now, I scored it really badly, so it looks a little butchered up at the top, but it's all good. You can see the perfect smokiness in the ham, the paprika, all the flavors getting in there, and that's a perfectly done ham. It took me about 2 hours and 45 minutes with an 8-pound ham, and you can see that it's still hot. And it's a perfect thing to eat on Christmas morning. It's a perfect thing to eat with that pepper sauce. Thank you very much for tuning in. It is What's in the Pot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll have a pastel video up real soon. Thank you very much for tuning in to What's in the Pot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and send it to your friends, send it to your family. That was my sweet and spicy ham with the papaya pepper sauce. Similar to what a lot of people may use, which is like ham and chow chow. The perfect thing to eat with some freshly baked bread this Christmas. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Shout out to S's Hair Studio in Ajax for the nice fresh haircut. You know, got me looking crisp for these videos. So thank you once again. It's your boy Sean Grande. Thank you. It's What's in the Pot.